Star-Spangled Banner, followed by the Diploma.
Mazal tov to all of you. You guys, you made it. And equally, perhaps challenging, mazel tov to your parents and grandparents, you also made it. I want to welcome all of you to our commencement ceremony. And it's hard to believe that it was just what feels like yesterday that we gathered together to kick off our school year. And another year has passed, and it's been an amazing and productive year. We've all been privileged to watch our students grow, and to all of you become ready to leave us. But before we talk about our students, I would first like to recognize our faculty and staff. Without our enormously dedicated faculty and staff, this evening would simply not be. It is because of their dedication that our students are so proud, our students are so prepared to attend the colleges and the yeshivot they will attend next year. For this, we are all forever grateful. I would like now to ask our faculty and staff to once again rise and be recognized. There is yet another group of individuals who deserve immense gratitude for their work in our school. It's all of you who volunteer, who are involved, who do large things and small things to make sure that this school is a strong and vibrant community. Please give yourselves a round of applause. And finally, to all of our board members, past and present, thank you for your tireless work on behalf of our school. It is in part because of your unwavering support and dedication to our school that we are here today. I would ask that all past and current board members of YHA, GHA, Hebrew Academy, NAJ, please stand to be recognized. Now, I hope you all can see each other, because from here I can't see a thing. Did anyone stand up? Okay, good. We've accomplished so much this year. On an institutional level, we have basically now completed our renovation. You're all welcome to visit our gorgeous upper school building. I had a tour this morning, and we accomplished it by raising our goal thus far of nearly $9 million. Thank you for Our admin team is hard at work reconfiguring our early childhood department, because we now are expecting over 110 students next year. We have now achieved educational synergies by merging our two amazing schools, as well as merging two operational budgets into one balanced budget, ensuring our long-term sustainability. You can clap. Speaking of the future, this year we've also spent a tremendous amount of time reimagining what could be moving forward. As you may have heard, we have reimagined and now transitioning to a fully scoped new Judaic Studies curriculum that will now include the best of both of our two-track systems into one forward-thinking, skills-developing, engaging Judaic Studies program. Our Judaic Studies program will only take a matter of time before it becomes an award-winning program. Mark my words, you heard it here first. And if that wasn't enough, we planned and are now shifting from a STEM school to a STEAM school, adding courses, science offerings, engineering, art, and plans now to build our first AJA Makerspace. And all of this would have been great, but we didn't rest, and we continued moving forward. We hired a new strategic learning director to work along our learning specialists, and are well positioned to offer individualized, personal support for all of our students. We even look at the little things, and we have plans to grow our extracurricular activities and our clubs, our Shabbatonim, our Israel trip. We can expect many new announcements towards the end of the summer. And then icing on the cake. In addition to various other exciting hires, we hired a first-rate new leadership team. I could not be more excited to welcome John Wisslin and Rabbi Alan Cuban to the upper school instructional leadership team. We'll have some informal opportunities to meet them more over the summer. I could not be more excited to join with them on this journey. And so while we were busy doing all that, the students in front of you were also very busy. They were engaged in Model Israel seminars, debates, and mukbeti. They were toiling daily with mitzvot, which included a trip to Azerbaijan. Several seniors volunteered throughout the year, providing help to faculty and peers whenever we needed help, and asked for no reward and no recognition. One of our seniors was an intern at the Tapestry School, assisting with students with special needs when she could have had a study hall. They immersed themselves in science, tech fair, and the safe cracking competition. Two seniors even won multiple first-place state awards in technology, including coding and design awards. They sang their Holocaust at the girls' Chagiga, or so they tell me. that. Our students push themselves physically in various athletics, and just the other day, we won the Ezra Schwartz Memorial Baseball Tournament. They're like, I had no idea. And in their downtime of a high schooler, they showed leadership. They ran events, battled the classes, Shabbatos, color war, community time, editors, team captains, and peer leaders. We all know that education is the bedrock of what we do. And beyond the traditional work, our students took part in many masters. A senior research capstone project, writing a 40-page research paper, and making a faculty presentation on theories, beliefs of the afterlife in Judaism as compared to other religions. We had many seniors spend time outside of classrooms, voluntarily learning with Rabbi E, Mishmor, and Mishmeret, sessions every single week. Though I missed this, I'm even told that we had a tornado watch, and the students were forced to be in the hallway and didn't want to waste any time, and sat with Rabbi E, and we say in the old country, Chaptarai. As you probably know, 2 of our senior students prepare Parsha videos each and every week. Stay tuned for the live version momentarily. And just as we are not done with our work, neither are our students. I'm happy to announce that 20 out of 22 of our graduates will be studying in Israel, entering the IDF or national service next year. This is a true testament to the accomplishments of the AJ Upper School. The journey was not always easy, and it had its ups and its downs. But like our school, these graduates, we have one thing in common. We have just seen the beginning of their and our accomplishments. Their future, our bright. It is now my pleasure to introduce, on behalf of the Jewish Federation, Joanne Burton.
Shalom, Havarim. I bring greetings from the Jewish Federation of Greater Atlanta to the graduates, their families, and to the entire HAA community. This is my 2nd year in a row with this rich pleasure. I'm not old enough to have lived the entire history of the HAA or the Federation, but I do have a father-in-law that, given a chance, could trace everything that's ever happened in Jewish Atlanta to either the Federation or the Hebrew Academy. Both are amongst the oldest continually operating Jewish institutions in Atlanta, and for that matter, the entire South. And for that long length of time, dating back to 1953, the Federation and the Atlanta Jewish Academy have partnered to reach the level of excellence they so proudly reflect today with this amazing group of graduates. Today, AJA is Atlanta's only seamless K-12 day school. What an accomplishment. Federation takes education very seriously because both formal and informal Jewish education has demonstrated long-lasting impact on the future of the Jewish people, changing lives. Over $1.2 million from our annual community campaign goes to support day schools alone, not to mention summer camp initiatives, Israel experiences, and other such programs that we hope these graduates will participate in throughout their college and post-college years. The Olive Fund has provided almost 3,000 scholarships, contributing nearly $24 million to Jewish education since 2008. This past year, here at AJA, over $480,000 in scholarship money was raised through the Olive Fund. So now, if everyone will indulge me for one more minute, I would like to single out one graduate. For the second year in a row, I get to change hats and put on my Aunt JoJo hat. Since 1957, Burnbury, Kaufman, Robkin, Stein, Sempt, Lowenstein, Italiander has been a student at the Atlanta Jewish Academy. That's 60 years running. My family has provided 31 students, plus the very first, a long time ago, well, not that long, the very first alumni Hebrew teacher. The one piece of bad news I have to report is that Josh Italiander, my nephew, is the absolute last of that generation. But the good news is the first of the next generation has already begun here at AJA, the Salzburgs. So it should be very easy to believe that when I bring greetings from the Federation, it comes from the heart and from the soul. So to Josh and the rest of the graduating class of 2017, to their very deserving, proud parents, Kol HaKavod, from the staff, board, and volunteers of the Jewish Federation of Greater Atlanta.
Thank you all for coming to the graduation of the Atlanta Jewish Academy class of 2017. Well, graduates, we made it. As a group, we did indeed start from the very bottom. Now it looks like the whole team's here. Think about how far we've come, individually and as a class. Looking back to freshman year, it seems like it was just yesterday. There was the first class, the first Saturday night basketball game, the first Maccabia, and the brutal realization that you actually need to study. Yeah, we learned from this, as we grew physically and mentally. Think about all the music and fashion trends that we lived through and all the different dance moves that were created. You had the whip, the nae-nae, the dab. Does anyone remember that song, Friday by Rebecca Black? Now we have a song called Tuesday. It's funny how things change. Our 4 years at AJA were no walk in the park. We were presented with many challenges and obstacles that we had to overcome. I cannot even begin to imagine how many family arguments came up because of frequent RunWeb emails. Every student has experienced his or her fair share of disappointment and upset, including me. I'll never forget when I saw the Beauty and the Beast movie for the first time. As we were walking out of the theater, I said to my mom, "When I grow up, I want to be a princess." She looked at me and said, "Naomi, grow up, you're graduating next week." Things may not always go as you plan, but I know that we can all agree that this class is resilient. We survived a bomb threat, 2 tornado warnings, and Ebola. The fact that we made it here, decorated with all these accomplishments, is a testament to our perseverance and commitment to excellence. Sitting on this stage are the last AJ students born in the 20th century. Each individual has defined their own version of success and met their goals, with the help of our faculty and peers with flying colors. Graduates, you are all destined for greatness. Each and every one of you has the potential to change the world. You have all grown into powerful and intellectual individuals who will leave footprints on this earth. Tables turn, bridges burn, you live and you learn, and oftentimes it's the journey that teaches you a lot about your destination. So as we part ways equipped with knowledge, we embark on a life sure to be filled with challenges and success. Street poet and philosopher Drake once said, "Oh well, I I guess you lose some and you win some, long as the outcome is income. You know I'd want it all and then some. While the idea of materialistic success does influence our lives, I ask that you follow your dreams and do what makes you happy. Strive to be the best versions of yourselves. Fly through the turbulence and live life. Be phenomenal or be forgotten. Congratulations, class of 2017.
You guys ready? Ezra! Ezra! Where are you?
Ezra!
Dan?
Ezra, I've been looking everywhere for you.
I was right here.
You wouldn't believe what is happening. I was just looking for you and my laptop and my camera, which is attached to my laptop, so that we could record this week's Parsha video. But you wouldn't guess what I found instead.
What? What'd you find?
All of these people! This entire crowd came here just to see us give our Torah, and for no other reason at all.
What? That's crazy. We've never had such a turnout before. Usually the only people who want to see our Devar Torahs are our parents and the students who we forced to watch it.
But now, Ezra, things have changed. The world has realized our genius. We have become the most famous Torah scholars in the entire world. Well, not including a few people who, were greater than us. Like Rashi, Rambam, Rashbam, Rabbeinu Tam, Sidi Ram, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Gamliel, Ezra.
I'm on the list?
And his biblical contemporary Nehemiah. Hillel Shammai, Hillel Sandwich, the Bartanura Wine, Ibn Ezra, Rav Hirsch, Yeshaya Hirsch, Rabbi E, Rabbi Estreicher, the entire Estreicher family, Rabbi Chuper, Rabbi Travis, Mr. Byron, the Koren Sidur, Rabbi Sachs, Potato Sacks, Rabbi Akiva, his 24,000 students even after they died, Torah Tamima High School, Rabbi Art Scroll, Antoninus, Thomas Aquinas.
Okay, Dan. Point proven. Maybe we're not the best Torah scholars, but look, all of these people believe in us. They trust in our capabilities to find a real Torah scholar and quote them.
So we're going to do what we do best. Horrible jokes and insightful Torah for an overall mediocre performance.
You could even say it's half-decent Divrei Torah. That's the name of our YouTube channel. Link.
Like and subscribe below. We're half decent, all Torah. That's our tagline.
So let's get to that Torah part. Or should I say, Torah portion. Pause for laughter.
Welcome to the grand finale of Dan and Ezra Discuss the Parsha. And I guess I'll mention it. Welcome to the graduation of the class of 2017!
Oh, so that's why all of these people are here.
This week's Parsha is the first of one of our top 5 of the 5 books of Moshe, Bamidbar.
If you haven't seen our weekly Parsha videos, we'd like to start off with a segment that we created ourselves called
Brief Overview! The Parsha opens up with Hashem commanding Moshe and Aaron to take a census of the Jewish people.
That makes sense to us.
And then the rest of the Parsha is filled with the results of that census. And it turns out there is a plethora of Jews in the desert.
An abundance of Hebrews.
A myriad of tribes.
A multitude of Kohani.
An agglomeration of half-shekel coins.
A horde of Jewish warriors.
And an array of thesaurus words that mean practically the same thing.
Anyway, the Torah doesn't just tell us the amount of people in each of the 12 tribes, but it gives us the names of the princes and the princes' fathers, and then tells us where they are placed in the camps.
We're told that the Levim were counted separately, and we're told that the Levim have a very special job, carrying and taking care of the Mishkan, which resided in the center of the camp.
We're told that anyone who does the service of the Mishkan who isn't a Levi will die. And that's why I don't serve in the Mishkan.
Then the Parsha goes into even greater detail on the Levim, talking about the three families of Levim, Gershon, Kehat, and Merari.
Each family was in charge of a different aspect of the Mishkan. God took care of the most holy parts of the Mishkan. The Aron, the Shulchan, the Menorah, and the Mizbeach.
Perhaps that's why the last aliyah of the Parsha focuses on Kehat. It ends with a warning. Don't let Kehat mess up on their job. It's really, really important. And if they mess up, they're gonna die.
We were inspired by the census in this week's Parsha.
So inspired that we decided to take our own census of the senior class.
Our class is a little bit different than the Hebrews in the desert. We only have 22 people, where the Jews had over 600,000 in this week's Parsha. I never took stat, but I'm pretty sure our sample's a little skewed and not representative of the overall Jewish population.
We have 8 girls and way too many guys.
We have 3 Kohanim and 1 Kohanes. 2 of them are actually named Kohen.
We have a grand total of 0 Levim, which means the Kohanim have to do some of the dirty work sometimes.
As for the other tribes, we have 1 person from the tribe of Yehuda and 1 from the tribe of Judah, the translated version.
We have 1 honorary member of the tribe of Dan. As for myself, I have a little bit of an internal tribal conflict.
We have 2 members of the tribe of Josh, 2 Yemenites, 2 Persians, 2 student council members, and 2 proud valedictorians.
Our grade is just filled with smart people. That's where you all raise your hand. Smart people, like Rashi and Ram.
No, Dan! Not that again. We regret to inform you that 9 seniors have come and gone over the years. They may be gone now, but they'll always be in our hearts. They assimilated.
As for the tribe of wrestlers, pretty much everyone quit, except for 2, including 1 champion.
And for 22 seniors, we've written 1 incredible senior project.
You know, Ezra, there is so much talent and diversity among these 22 incredible people that we can probably keep counting on for another 6 aliyahs.
But we should probably move on and get to sort of a real lesson so our audience and our graduates can potentially go home.
It's a good point. You might think that a parsha like this, which is mostly a census, would be devoid of any interesting lessons. But you'd be wrong. We read this parsha with our helpful friend Rashi, so we've got a lesson for you.
We want to show you 2 of Rashi's comments on Pasukim from this parsha and what they teach us about how our communities affect us.
The first is on the pasuk that mentions the placement of the family of Kehat. Mishbecho b'nei Kehat yachanu, al yered hamishkan teimana.
The families of the children of Kehat would encamp to the side of the Mishkan to the south. Rashi points out that this is next to where Reuben encamped.
He reminds us that Korah, the infamous rebel of Moshe, descends from Kehat. Not only that, his followers, chief among them, Datan and Abiram, came from this nearby tribe of Reuven.
From this, Rashi teaches us the principle of oy l'rasha v'oy l'shchena. Woe to the wicked one, and woe to his neighbor.
And that's why the neighboring tribe of Reuven was the one who participated in Korah's rebellion.
Rashi then brings a parallel idea when the parsha discusses where Moshe, Aaron, and his sons are placed at the front of the camp, next to the tribes of Yisachar, Zebulun, and Yehuda.
These tribes are all associated with Torah learning because, says Rashi, they lived right next to Moshe and Aaron, who spent plenty of time learning Torah. Rashi brings the principle Tov l'tzadik, Tov lishkeno. There is good for one and good for a community.
Damn, you're being pedantic.
If you surround yourselves with positive role models, then those positive traits will rub off on you. Exhibit A through V.
We've had some incredible teachers and faculty over these past 4 years that haven't just taught us through their classes, They taught us through incredible character as well, which have shown us, not just told us, how to be good people.
As we move on into the big scary world, we will strive to surround ourselves with people that we can learn from. But more importantly, we should strive to be the type of people that others wish to surround themselves with, so that we can take the lessons we've learned here and pass them on to the world.
We aren't 12 tribes, but we are 22 proud individuals, and each of us waves our own unique banner.
Today, this little group of ours is saying goodbye, and we're joining something bigger, something ancient, something powerful, something meaningful. We are going to be let loose into the world as descendants of the nation mentioned in this week's Parsha, B'nai Israel.
Seniors, our people have been leading the world by example for a very long time. Let's try not to screw it up.
Thanks for watching. Congratulations.
That was a little embarrassing. Good evening, everyone. It's my honor to introduce our guest speaker for the night, Martin Lowenberg. He was born in 1928 in the province of Hessen, Germany. Only 5 years later, the Nazi Party came into power in Germany, and at this time, Martin Lowenberg lived with his parents and siblings attending a public school at that time. But then, in 1936, at the age of 8, he was sent to a Jewish boarding school, and then from there transferred to a segregated school for Jews only in Fulda, Germany. Martin's family made many attempts to flee Germany at the beginning of the war. However, it was very hard at that time to move such a big family into another country. Also, with very little family and no relatives in foreign countries, this sanctuary was not easy to find. After the beginning of World War II, a decent life in Fulda became even more difficult. Merchants and store owners refused to sell goods and food to the Jews. Beginning in September of 1941, Jews were required to wear a yellow star patch on their clothing. In December of 1941, Martin Lowenberg and his family were deported with approximately 1,000 other Jews to Riga, Latvia. On August 16, 1943, Martin Lowenberg, now at the age of 15 years old and considered fit for slave labor, was sent to the Kaiserwald concentration camp in Riga. This was the last time he saw his parents and twin brothers, who were then at that time just 9 years old. While in the Kaiserwald concentration camp, Lowenberg slept on wooden bunks without mattresses and wore striped prisoners' clothing. The food rations were barely enough to sustain life, consisting of 1 slice of bread and 2 bowls of watery soup per day. Soon after arriving there, the Riga ghetto was closed on November 2nd of 1943. The remainders of the ghetto's inhabitants, including Lowenberg's parents and his brothers, were taken to the freight depot and loaded onto cattle cars and boxcars. They were then sent to the Auschwitz concentration camp in Poland, where they perished. In September of 1944, Martin and his sister Eva were taken to Hamburg, Germany. In Hamburg, they were placed in the Fusseletbühl prison. In April of 1945, the Jewish prisoners were forced onto a death march for 4 days and 4 nights to the German city of Kiev, about 70 miles away. Martin and his sister Eva later were liberated in Sweden. They spent a year recuperating in 3 displaced persons camps in Sweden. 3 more of Martin's siblings survived the war, and they were all reunited in the United States. All of his other close relatives sadly perished during the Holocaust. In 1960, Martin Lowenberg married a US-born woman named Carol, and they now have 3 daughters and 14 grandchildren. With that, I would love for everyone to please welcome our guest speaker, Martin Lowenberg.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. And I'm honored that one of the graduates of this wonderful school introduced me. But I feel that all of you introduced me. All of you, 22, who have studied for so many trying years, and now is your day that you finally succeeded. You have learned and you have earned, and you earned everything what your head, what your body can hold. And now you're going on to greater strides. Most of you are going on to Israel to study, and I congratulate you for that feat, for that wonderful idea. Because as I'm standing in front of this beautiful flag that we're celebrating this week, Yom Yerushalayim, we can be so proud, and all of you can be proud, that you can go there this year and for many years to study and kiss that flag as I have kissed it in 1973 and 1948. Because those were the years that I remember, and I remember so well. So I wish you Mazal Tov and all the very, very best in your long, wonderful life. And you should follow the path that your parents have paved for you. That path of Yiddishkeit, that path of studying, that path that they have given you all the happiness, and that you can continue for many, many years with your own families. Because I think back what happened to all the other families that would have loved to have been in your shoes right now, who could no longer speak, who could no longer move, like my 2 little brothers at the age of 9, who were in Auschwitz in 1944 and did not have that chance. And so many of them, 1.5 million children, beautiful children, under the age of 15, were the ones that were by then Mengele did all the experimentations, and they were unfortunately killed. who can think back. Because think of today, what these wonderful children, 1.5 million children, they did not have a chance to study. They did not have a chance to graduate. They did not have the chance to meet anyone, to get married, to be parents, to be grandparents, to be famous people. Famous they could have been today, because what they could have contributed to the world unfortunately, was never there. Yes, but how lucky you are. And to think of your own future, what your future will hold for you. Grab it. Take as much as you can, because I know your parents want you to. They want you to be proud of you, and I know they are. They are so proud of you as you're sitting here, and believe me, they wish the very, very best of you. So I want to wish you with that. Mazal Tov. And to everyone here, I only hope that we can continue enjoying the peace and enjoying the graduations of our future children for many, many years, the way you have been taught. Torah and everything else. But Torah comes first. And don't ever forget who you are and what you are and what you can give to the world. Thank you so very much.
Good evening, everyone. According to British politician Herbert Gardner, once you get people laughing, they're listening, and you can tell them almost anything. Now, I can't make you laugh, but neither could Herbert Gardner. That's why he wrote the quote. My greatest fear is being different, standing out from the crowd. Sort of like this. When I learned that I would be speaking today, I watched every salutatorian and valedictorian speech from YA and AJA history that existed online. As it turns out, there were only 6. But if there had been 96, I still would have watched them all. I took notes on how people started their speeches. Some said, "Good evening, everyone." Others expanded on everyone, mentioning fellow graduates, family, friends, and distinguished guests. I knew those were now my 2 options. I noticed how people ended their speeches, who they thanked, and for how long. I looked for the quote they would inevitably use. Did it start the speech, end it? Was it somewhere in the middle? I even looked at how long they all were, and added time to the first draft of this speech because it didn't fit within the range of 6 to 10 minutes that all the others did. I was so scared of making a speech that was different in any way, that would dare to be memorable or unique. When I found out that I was co-valedictorian, I even got excited because I got to share the honor with someone else. To decide what to wear today, I scrolled through years of photos, looking for the dresses that the classes of 2016 and 2015 wore, to make sure mine was the right shape, pattern, and length. I brought 3 pairs of shoes with me to ensure I wasn't too much taller or shorter than the other girls, that my heel height was comparable. And unfortunately, I applied this to everything, not just graduation. I would spend hours working on something as meaningless as my Instagram captions to make sure that they fit the formula in my eyes of acceptable captions. When I broke my foot earlier this year, my biggest fear was not how much it would hurt or how difficult it would be to walk again, but how much I would stand out or sit up. I wasted so much of my life worrying about how similar I was to everyone else that I forgot to live. To quote philosopher Paul Tillich, neurosis is the way of avoiding non-being by avoiding being. And yes, based on the 6 speeches I watched, this is a common place to put a quote. My top priority was always being the same instead of being myself. I was afraid to voice opinions or buy what I wanted because they weren't someone else's opinions or what everyone else was buying. It wasn't healthy. I was holding myself back, and I knew it. I wish I could say that I've overcome this problem, but it's still a daily struggle for me of constant people watching and comparing myself to how I measure up. I haven't completely stopped caring about how well I fit in, but I have learned to embrace my differences, as well as everybody else's. If you know the class of 2017, you know that we're a group of vastly different people. And those differences make us interesting. We are each so distinct in our views, outlooks, interests, and strengths, which is necessary in a world that has become increasingly standardized. Our unique personalities will take us far in our future endeavors. Next year, we are attending numerous different seminaries, yeshivot, and colleges. And our wide range of interests will lead us all to different, yet equally meaningful passions and careers. It was often difficult for us to make decisions together, because it's hard when you have 22 different ideas. But the individuality that caused us to struggle through planning great events will make all of our futures incredibly bright. I hope that one day I can stop caring completely about how much I fit in. Today, I am still so hyper-aware of the people around me and how I stack up. In the meantime, though, I've learned to appreciate the differences that I cannot change, the parts of everyone that make up our unique personalities and cannot be so easily disguised. As Robert Frost said, the best things and best people rise out of their separateness. I'm against a homogenized society because I want the cream to rise. We are our best when we are ourselves. Thank you to all of the fantastic teachers who guided us through these last 4 years and inspired us with their insights. And thank you to the amazing parents and families who helped foster our growth. As we start anew next year, I wish my fellow classmates wonderful and meaningful experiences. And in an attempt to start forging my own path, this speech is 2 minutes shorter than the average.
So Hannah got pretty much all the thank yous out of the way, but I just want to include a couple. First, I wanted to thank my parents for everything they have done. They have always pushed me forward and motivated me, inspired me in everything that I do, and I would not be here without them, quite literally. I also want to thank my friends for always pushing me forward and keeping me normal. Who knows what I would be like without them. Writing speeches is always hard. You can never fully know what your audience values or their average attention span. As I put the pen to paper, or rather my fingers to the keyboard, I knew I wanted my speech to be emotional and inspirational. Yet, I do not have too many amazing experiences that you can learn from, unless you count the sheer amount of times I've been able to lose my wallet. So I thought, maybe I should make it funny, but I've been told that my jokes are horrible. I started to write about something unique to myself, but that also didn't work out, because the only thing special I can think about myself right now is my remarkable ability to forget important events and social expectations. I finally decided on the one thing that got me to where I am today: learning. I can see a lot of you getting scared. Please do not panic. I'm not giving a shear. If you feel the need to doze off, feel free at any time. We go through our lives pretty quickly. Rarely do we step back and simply look at how amazing the world is. I don't mean its physical beauty. Smelling the roses is great, but that appreciation only lasts so long. I mean the beauty that comes from appreciating the vastness of our world and the place we have in it. Oftentimes, our traits, such as pride and ignorance, get in the way of this appreciation. And we are too scared to push away our faults and overcome our problems. But these traits do not have to be a dead end. This is why I will tell you of 7 ways that I believe help me push away, at least somewhat, my pride, ignorance, stubbornness, and immaturity, in hopes of becoming a better and more learned person. 1. Never talk before someone greater than yourself. When I started at good old Yeshiva Atlanta, I met a man named Rabbi Israel. He saw something greater than himself in every single one of his students. Rabbi Ish showed me that you must look at everyone as if they were greater than yourself. As the more you believe that you are better, the less you will come to learn throughout your life. Sit back and start listening, not just to those you think you have something to learn from, but to everyone. 2. Never interrupt your friend. When I traveled as a kid with my parents, they used to take away my Game Boy and tell me to look out the window. I hated them with all my heart for the Pokemon battles that I lost. Up until the point that I actually looked out the window and was amazed by what I saw. There was a whole world that I was missing by looking down at the little screen in my lap. And this applies just as much today. Never forget about the world. The more you interrupt it with meaningless stuff, the less you will learn. To be the one who never interrupts means that you will always be the one who has learned the most. 3. Never be quick to reply. My dad always told me that when he goes to a business meeting, he can tell who is the most successful in the room. It's the person who waits until the very end to ask a single question that knocks everyone out of their chairs. A single statement can overpower an entire conversation. All it requires is some thinking before you speak. With calculated and purposeful words, you can change someone's mind, you can turn around their day, you can even influence the world. All it requires is some thought before you talk. With the tremendous potential that speech has, why would you waste it on a mindless response? 4. Ask relevant questions and give appropriate answers. I've had a wide range of teachers throughout my life. I've seen dates, formulas, concepts, and equations, but those are not the lessons that I have received from my teachers. While they may despise the amount of questions I ask, they were the ones that taught me to ask them. Mr. Shillito in math, Dr. Jeffrey, Ms. Brandon science, the list goes on and on. Grades and GPA are not the goals of our education. The questions we ask and the answers we think about will always, always teach us more. Questions allow you to see the world for what it is, and answers give you the means, the tools, and the capability to understand it. 5. Omer arishon rishon, v'achron achron. Put first things first, and last things last. My mom has always taught me the value of prioritization. Life is truly a game of optimization. To get the most out of it, you need to figure out what is important. For me, family and religion are up top. Remembering where I put my keys and wallet are all the way at the bottom. But that may be different for everybody. Regardless, life without order is a chaotic forest, while a life of priorities is a beautiful garden. Figure out what comes first and what comes last, and every decision will be both meaningful and easy. 6. To that which you don't know, be willing to say, I don't know. I used to think that I knew a lot. I could rattle off complicated physics formulas and most of the elementary particles. I once even asked this very question to a physicist I met. Could gravitons exist as a way of supporting quantum field theory while not defying Einstein's theory of gravity? Wow, I was a genius, right? He understood it just as much as you do now, because it makes no sense. As I've grown, I have realized how ignorant I am, how much more I have to learn. The world is a massive place, its secrets uncountable. The beauty of mystery and that which we do not know is more beautiful than any sight you will see. Do not be embarrassed to say I do not know, as the more you say that statement, the more you will come to learn and appreciate all that is in this world. 7. Modeh ala emet. Put the truth before everything. This one I learned pretty recently, and I have my friend Dan to thank. You see, I thought I had my personal philosophy figured out. Then Dan started talking about ancient philosophy and biblical criticism. At first I was like, Dan, are you crazy? But then he showed me how incomplete my beliefs were. I was forced to rethink everything and see every perspective in the pursuit of truth. I still don't believe that biblical criticism and stuff, but you gotta look at everything. He's still crazy, don't get me wrong. But that craziness has taught me so much. You see, every important invention, great civilization, drastic improvement, and sweeping enlightenment has come from a changing perspective. You must always pursue truth, as the solidification of our beliefs come from the seed of our doubts. These are not 7 things that I've mastered, but rather my 7 goals to learning and growing. 7 ways to better yourself and live a more purposeful, happy, and truthful life. Life is a long journey, but it can be so much more enjoyable if we are willing to accept that we are not perfect. If you come away with anything tonight, let it be this. Be bold enough to grow and fix your faults. Be brave enough to put others before yourself. Be confident enough to say, I do not know. Be careful enough to not waste your breath. Be curious enough to ask a question. And lastly, but most importantly, be open enough to pursue a life of learning, so that at the end of our days we may say that I lived my life well. Thank you.
All of you, very beautiful words. I sure am glad I didn't leave my speech up here. It's amazing how many speeches this little table can hold. You really can't see anybody over here. Good evening. My name is Danny Frankel, and I'm the president of the Atlanta Jewish Academy. On behalf of the board, I want to welcome all of you to our special school and to share together in this wonderful night where we recognize our very accomplished graduating seniors. Just a few days ago, I was privileged to attend and participate in the AJA Senior Night event. At this intimate evening, in an unscripted and unrehearsed manner, our graduates paid heartfelt tribute to their teachers and parents for their unique and individual AJA journeys. As a board member, this experience was reaffirming in that we have a faculty that inspires and genuinely loves our students, and that as a school, we are producing graduates of outstanding achievement and character. Graduates, as I expect will be noted several times this evening, although I'm the first, you bear the distinction of being the last class to begin your high school career at Yeshiva Atlanta, and you'll be the last class to have spent all 4 years on our charming Raymond Drive campus. For Atlanta Jewish Academy, we shortly will embark on our 4th year as an institution. As high schoolers know, this means that we are about to enter into our senior year. Just like you, when you started high school, we, AJA, began our journey with great excitement and purpose, but also with caution and anxiety. We joined our schools, created a new board, established a name and mascot, yet we still had 2 campuses, 2 identities, and 2 cultures. While we can tour this building and marvel at the upper school wing that sprouted in front of our eyes this past year, we know that the work and effort at combining identities and cultures is the far more difficult task. As our graduates, and especially their parents know, The high school journey is an uneven climb. Slips and falls are inevitable as we surge forward. Similarly, as an institution, we have weathered difficult times but have always been strengthened and energized by our purpose and our mission. As we enter AJA's senior year, we can begin to feel the limitless potential of our greatest aspirations. In one connecting facility, our preschoolers will gallop into the building from one entrance, and our upper schoolers will trudge through the building in a uniquely high school way from another entrance. There, under one roof, the best of our hopes and dreams can be found. In this singular building, the holy work of educating and inspiring our children will take place. I know with confidence that the great Jewish leaders of tomorrow will emerge from this building shaped and molded by their experience at AJA. Just a week or two ago, we caught a glimpse of all that is possible when Naftali Bennett, Israel's Minister of Education, visited our campus. In a 90-minute period, we witnessed the joy and fearless way that our kindergarten interacted with him as he sat on the floor with them, astounded by their knowledge and precociousness. A few minutes later, I watched in awe as our lower school kids flashed their fluency in Hebrew and Israeli culture by serenading him with song and dance. And finally, when our upper school students had their audience, they exhibited poise and insight beyond their years and confidently probed and challenged the minister in the most respectful of ways. This is the vision that we dreamed of, and this is what motivates us as we navigate through our journey. Before concluding, I want to publicly recognize George Birnbaum. I'm guessing he's here, but I can't see him, a parent of 3 AJA students and a fellow graduate. Not only is George responsible for bringing Naftali Bennett to our campus and making sure that AJA is a must-stop for visiting Israeli dignitaries, but for the past 2 years, he has sponsored and guided a 4-student mission together with Rabbi Travis to literally hand-deliver matzah to the Jews of Azerbaijan. What an incredibly tangible way to impart the mitzvah of Ahavat Yisrael, the love of the Jewish people, to our students. George, we are deeply grateful for your special and unique gifts to our school and appreciate all that you do. Mazel tov to all, and thank you very much.
When I worked as a software consultant, any unassigned personnel were designated on the bench and reported to the main office to await placement, sometimes for weeks or months at a time. Though I was never placed on the bench, my friends who were assured me that it was boring and their skills atrophied. One of last week's Parshiot, Bechukotai, also emphasizes that it is indeed better to keep busy. If you follow the ways of Hashem, your threshing will last until the vintage, and the vintage will last until the sowing. You will eat your bread to satiety, and you will dwell securely in your land. In other words, you will be constantly busy and won't even feel the need to travel. But doesn't it sound exhausting and overwhelming to be so busy? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to relax now and then? Instead, the Torah assures us that being busy is part of the bracha. People who remain engaged have a feeling of accomplishment and happiness and are even physically healthier. In the same way, students who are challenged in school and who are constantly learning new concepts and who are busy studying are happier and more fulfilled than those who are not. As tempting as it sounds in the middle of a difficult week to just relax or just be bored, it is actually a less fulfilling way to go through school or life. In this spirit, the AJA class of 2017 has certainly been blessed with a constant activity, accomplishment, and health. From my vantage point, I have had a unique and wonderful perspective in observing the growth of the students in this class. Listening to the wisdom shared by our graduates during their senior talks just now, and in more private conversations, I'm impressed at how much they have matured since their 9th grade year. I'm also reminded of a list the faculty produced during a faculty meeting many years ago of what our ideal graduates would look like. I'm proud to see our graduates in that list that I recently rediscovered, and I will share with you now in much abridged form. Team players. This is one of the items we were looking for. Our sports teams work uniquely well together. Our girls' basketball team defeated a rival we had never beaten, not once, but twice this season. And as was mentioned, our baseball team just brought home a championship in the Ezra Schwartz tournament. Takes pride in religion and continues studies, as we saw just now in our Parsha videos that 2 of our seniors do weekly. Applies his or her education. Our safecracking team applied their learning to create a safe that used physics principles, and then used those same principles to crack other safes. A person of action. One of our seniors noted that we needed to share more information about mission-aligned summer programs and set up a session where she shared the information that she acquired from these programs, also enabling other students to speak about their summer experiences. Respectful and caring of themselves and others. Seniors made a huge difference in the lives of memory care residents at Bourbon Commons this year. Sense of joy about living. I wish you could have seen our seniors leading their final bout of Shabbos dancing. Leader of community leads by example. Our student council led us to victory in a $10,000 safe driving contest and coordinated a surprise wrapped in a surprise for our Battle of the Classes. They also led weekly community time gatherings for the entire upper school. Charitable, giving, helpful, celebrating differences. Being immersed in the lives of their special friends through Friendship Circle and urban farming at Global Growers in Decatur. Culturally literate. Some of our seniors have been to visit Azerbaijan, of all places. Grateful. Our recyclers, led by a senior, were grateful for the gift of this world that Hashem bestowed upon us and wanted to make a difference in maintaining that gift. Articulate and reflective. This was probably the best group of senior talks we have ever had, as each senior shared something that has made a difference in his or her life over the past 4 years. Sense of humor. Our seniors led the audience to raucous laughter at Purim-Palooza. Independent learners. Some of our seniors have spent a lot of time in guided independent learning in our Judaic Studies classes this year. And finally, good heart and special soul. Seniors led the No Place for Hate Club to try out new initiatives and grow our partnership with Cedar Grove, some students whom I have seen here tonight. This year's graduating class is indeed a special group, and they will be missed tremendously. They stepped up their leadership this year in particular and crafted the school in their image. They are a passionate, caring group who both embrace change and also remain remarkably loyal to their friends, their families, and their school. As I mentioned earlier, they certainly have been blessed with busy, meaningful lives. I personally cannot wait to hear how they are transforming the world in the years to come. Congratulations and best of everything to the class of 2017. Now, as we prepare for the main event, I invite the seniors to rise. Our tradition here is to read 3 words that the faculty and students have coordinated that we believe represent each student. Ruby Violet Jacobs. Intellectual, persevering, modest. husband, Ethan Bashari. Easygoing, humorous, Sunny. Techelet Bunder. Mensch, compassionate, driven. Yehuda Benchatree. Gregarious, outgoing, curious. Brooke Aviva Ratner. Bold, dedicated, energetic. Mikhail Ruvain Kandadash. Passionate, individualistic, hilarious. Sean Ryan Reaganbaum. Inquisitive, optimistic, motivated. Hannah Ida Pincus. Studious, poised, reliable. Moshe Maxwell Ross Cohen. Supportive, role model, community-minded. Naomi Musai. Foodie, vivacious, friendly. Judah Isaac Blanks. Musical, determined, unique. Joshua Mayer Lamb. Collected, well-mannered, cool. That was my uncoolness, not it. Rivka Ora Cohen. Scholarly, creative, inquisitive. Joshua Leo Italiander. Athletic, quick-witted, unflappable. Daniel Lave Shapiro. well-rounded, artistic, jack of all trades. Rena Eve Sobel. Spunky, cheerful, dances to her own drummer. It was a long word. Yeshaya Hirsch. Dominator, gracious, leader on the mats. Dustin Leor Dayani. Driven, fun-loving, athletic. Zohar Wittenberg. Zionistic, grand, inimitable. Ezra Shalom Blau. Empathetic, charismatic, evolving. Don Dove Juden. Truth-seeking, inventor, passionate. We are proud to present to you the AJA graduating class of 2017.